Hello friends, it's me, Mrs. Idas. Today we're going to do a little something different for science. Remember how we had been speaking about animals in our subtraction pages? The types of animals that can hibernate, migrate, and adapt? Well, today we're going to practice identifying some of those animals. And the worksheet I need you to get is inside of your packet, Work for Mrs. Ida's Lessons. And if you flip through, you're going to find this page, Migrate, Hibernate, and Adapt. Okay, friends? So let's review what I had told you before about animals that migrate, animals that hibernate, and animals that adapt. Okay? Animals that migrate are the types of animals that leave their home in the winter to go somewhere else that's warmer. Why do they do that? They do that because they need to have their babies in warmer places. And other reasons could be because the food where they live is scarce during the winter time. That means it's very hard for them to find something to eat. So they have to go to warmer places where the food is growing so that they continue to eat and survive. So there are different reasons why animals need to migrate and go somewhere else. Why don't we put a little arrow on top of migrate to show that the animals need to go somewhere else? A little arrow. Great job. Now, hibernate, many of you already know that when an animal hibernates, it is asleep for the winter. The animal eats and eats and eats like a big bear, eats and eats and eats and gets nice and full. Some animals even store little snacks in their lair or in their little hole in a tree, and they sleep during the winter. Their heartbeat slows down, their breathing slows down, and they're able to save their energy from the foods they ate by sleeping all winter long. So hibernators are sleepers. Let's make some sleepy eyes and put some Z's, like they're snoring. Hibernate means a long sleep. Then there are some other animals that can adapt. They can change the color of their fur. If they live in the Arctic, like an Arctic fox or an Arctic hare, they can adapt. That means they can change the way they live, change the way they eat in order to survive the winter. So let's make like a circle with a little arrow that shows some changes that happen all the time. This way, these little symbols can be clues for us as we discover which animals migrate, hibernate, and adapt. So let's look here at the bottom. I see lots of animals. I see ducks or geese. They're flying somewhere else. I see a bear sleeping in his den. Here's a little snake. Here is a deer. Here is a hare, a butterfly, a squirrel, a whale, and a skunk. So the first thing we have to do is cut these pieces out. So if your paper is still in your packet, a trick is to flip all the other pages out of the way and then make sure it's just this one paper here. Then we're going to get our scissors. Remember, the little hole is the thumbs up cut. Open, shut them. And we're going to cut on this bottom line. Okay? So cut along the bottom line carefully. Good job. Just like this. So now we have the top part where we're going to sort animals, and then the little half sheet with the little animal picture cards. But we need to cut out these little animal picture cards. Okay, so come down these dotted lines and go over and up a little and around and up. Follow those little dashes and across. It almost looks like we're making a number 7. Okay, get your scrap out of the way, and here's our little animal picture cards. Now we need to cut all the little cards. So now we have to do the middles. So here's a dash line. So follow that dashed line, and this one too. Oh, look, the skunk is a little card. And then cut up along the solid lines in between each of the picture cards. Okay, just like this. Very nice. We have a lot of pictures. 9 pictures. Good. You can put your scissors away and get your glue stick ready. All right? And let's go ahead and talk about these little animals. Okay? Let's do some of the ones we know right away. Okay? So we know a lot about the bears. We know from our story Bear Snores On that bears are hibernators. That's right. They have a long sleep. So we're going to put a little dot of glue in the box, and then we're going to stick our bear hibernating. Good job. We also spoke a little bit about the ducks and the geese that migrate for more food and to have their babies, some of them. So we know they go somewhere else. That means they migrate. So let's put the dot of glue in the migrate picture box. We know they migrate. Then we also spoke about another little animal that lives in the Arctic and hops along. That's right, the Arctic hare. And the Arctic hare can change the color of its fur. Remember, a change? So that means that this little bunny, this Arctic hare, can adapt. It changes to match the surroundings so it can live and be protected, hiding from the predators. Great job. Okay, now for the other cards. And this can be tricky. All right, friends? Remember, migrate means to go somewhere else. And I know from watching on TV that whales, they migrate. That's because they are mammals like you and me. We like it warm. We breathe with our lungs, and we are warm-blooded. And the whales cannot live in cold, cold water to have their babies. They need to have their babies in warm water. So they migrate. They go somewhere else. So let's sort our whale into the migrate column. All right? Ducks and geese migrate to warmer weather. Whales migrate to warmer water. And there is something else here that can fly, and it migrates down south to warmer weather. Can you guess what I'm thinking of? Look at the pictures that are left over. Yes, it's the butterfly. Did you know that butterflies, some of them migrate? Like the monarch butterfly. Have you ever seen the orange and black butterflies that are so beautiful? They migrate to Mexico every year, thousands of them, because when it is winter here in the northern hemisphere, it gets so cold. But as you go down south towards the equator, it gets warmer and warmer. And the butterflies like that warm weather. So they migrate. They go somewhere else. Good job, friends. So we now know that ducks and geese migrate, whales migrate, and butterflies do too. Wow, what neat fun facts. Okay, let's take a look at our hibernate column. We already have the bear. We knew that. But did you know that there is another type of animal that slithers and makes a little hole in the ground to sleep and hibernate all winter? Did you guess the snake? You are right. The snake also hibernates. The snake is also a true hibernator. They dig burrows buried underneath the ground, burrows, and they slither in there because it's warmer under the ground for them. Isn't that interesting? Wow. And then another true hibernator, an animal that sleeps all winter long and doesn't get up to get their snack, is a stinky animal. Can you guess which one I'm thinking of? Yes, the skunk. The skunk is also another true hibernator. There he is. He sleeps just like the bear and the snake. Now the last two pictures are of some animals that can adapt. One is the little deer. The deer live in the forest, and when the winter comes, they start eating different types of food. So if they had eaten berries and fresh leaves at the beginning of the spring and the summer, when it gets fall and winter, they change the way they eat. They'll look for maybe some nuts and fallen leaves and twigs and sticks that pop out of the snow, and they will change the way they eat because they don't go anywhere and they don't sleep all winter long. They adapt. They change their ways of living. And another adapter, and this is kind of tricky because scientists are studying, are squirrels true hibernators or are they adapters? Well, I think we can either glue it in this spot or kind of in between, because the squirrels, they gather their nuts during fall and they store them away in their burrows, in the little holes in the trees and other little nooks and crannies. Sometimes they even bury them in the grass to eat for later. And they eat and eat and eat, and they store up everything. But when they sleep, they still wake up sometimes to have a snack. And scientists say that that is a form of adapting. So even though they sleep for a long time and their breath gets slower and their heartbeat gets slower, sometimes they wake up for a little snack. And that's why many people are now considering squirrels as adapters. They adapted by gathering their food for the winter and having it ready in case they wake up from their hibernation. Wow, friends, I sure did have fun talking about animals that migrate, hibernate, and adapt. I sure hope you learned a lot. I sure did. And you can now go ahead and color the pictures on your own and share with your teachers on Flipgrid Friday. Thanks, friends. See you tomorrow.